Titchmarsh Show, sponsored by Harvey's The Furniture Store, bringing your home to life.
Welcome back. Still to come, the double Olivier Award-winning actress Zoe Wanamaker's here, and with the long weekend ahead of us, I'm back on the 80 allotment to answer some more of your gardening questions. But now, many people's image of Easter is probably this. But really, it should be about this.
Ah, the king of the Jews.
Hurry up, this crowd worries me.
Here, take it.
Father, forgive them. They know not what they do.
The festival which marks the resurrection of Christ has been somewhat hijacked by a thirst for chocolate. So have we given in to commercialism and lost the true meaning of Easter? And how can we get it back again? Here to discuss, from the Church of England, David Marshall, Penny Smith and Nick Ferrari. David, can we get it back again, do you think?
I think we can. About 2 years ago, I did some research on the Easter egg market, and it's amazing. Every year, we buy and sell 80 million Easter eggs. And I was astounded, because when I looked at the Easter eggs that were on sale at the time, out of the 80 million, not one of them mentioned Jesus or the Christian understanding of Easter. There are 500,000 million pounds a year sold in chocolate, and 50% of school children do not know the religious meaning of Easter. So there's a task to be done.
Well, part of that task you have done, indeed, by bringing out this, what you call the real Easter egg, which is a proper chocolate Easter egg inside. But there is a Christian message on the side. It's not heavy in the way it... I don't mean the egg's not heavy. The egg isn't heavy either. But neither is the message. It just explains what Easter celebrates. Were you quite conscious of not being too ram it down people's throats, but just to explain it clearly?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's got 3 crosses on the front, and it does say very clearly what Easter is. So if you give that gift to a child, then obviously they'll be able to read that, or the adult will be able to explain the connection to Easter. So it's a chance, really, just to make that reconnection.
What do you think, Penny?
Well, it's quite weird, isn't it? Because really, eggs have nothing to do with Jesus and the resurrection anyway, do they, really? And the Christians kind of took over all the pagan festivals,
sign of
really.
birth and rebirth, so it's...
Yes, so it's kind of the pagan spring, really, and that's... The egg was a sign of rebirth and everything else. So actually, that's sort of particular, the egg in particular...
It's much older than that, though. It's much older than that. It's actually Egyptian, and most faiths have an egg somewhere in their tradition to symbolise faith and new life, and so...
Yeah. But it predates Christianity, is what I'm saying. So I'm saying that the egg, therefore, is kind of also to do with spring, really, and excitement. And I know when I was a kid, and I did go to church, and Easter was a time of chocolate Easter eggs. That was it. It was exciting. The most exciting thing about Easter was finding out what was in your egg. And that was kind of it, really, even though I knew all about the message.
Nick, do you think now, in some quarters, there might be a slight embarrassment about bringing up the true meaning of Easter, because we are now such either a secular society or such a multi-faith society?
Well, that's actually... You've almost stolen my point, because I think David is to be applauded, because this is a Christian country, and we have to celebrate the fact that this is a Christian country. And we also celebrate the fact that we have Jews living among us, and Muslims, and everybody else, and Hindus, and that's fantastic. But let's take pride in the fact that we do, and many of our laws date back to Christian principles. Let's not be ashamed to say that we're Christians, and if this encourages kids to actually have an understanding of that, and please, I'm not Bible bashing and I'm not preaching, I think it's fantastic, because there's a heck of a lot that's good, and we should be proud of the fact that we are that sort of country and embrace it once and all.
David, how easy was it to get supermarkets to take your eggs? I know Waitrose have, Booths, Morrison's, Co-op. Tesco haven't?
Well, none of them took it to start with, because we took the idea to the supermarkets and said, look, 7 million people go to church at least once a month. 4 million people will go to church on Easter Day. They've never had a choice of buying an egg that says something about their faith before. There will be a lot of demand. And one by one, they turned us down or didn't see us. So what we did is we took it to the churches and schools, and we asked them to put in an early order last September. Now, you never launch an Easter egg in September, believe me, but we did, and within 3 weeks we had 30,000 orders, and we've been inundated ever since. And the supermarkets have come back slowly, one by one, and decided to stock the egg. Yeah. So in order to bring this to market, I actually had to set up my own chocolate company, and the story there, just unbelievable, owning hundreds of tons of chocolate, miles of tin foil, getting the message approved by the Archbishop of York. So it's all been signed off and approved right down the line.
Do you know what I'm obsessed with? The fact that as the years have gone by, and this is a particularly bad year, is that the chocolate eggs have got smaller while the price has got huge. And considering that a lot of our chocolate eggs are in fact vegetate and have this much cocoa in it, I can't understand how the price can have gone up so much.
Well, the excuse is that they've had a terrible time with crops on the Ivory Coast.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The cocoa content is about this much. I don't know what is on your egg.
I mean, we very deliberately, for ethical reasons, made sure that the egg was made of fair trade chocolate, and that's quite an important thing for us because the farmers get a fair price, they get a premium, which means that they can invest money into things like providing food and fresh water. So the egg, we think, not only explains the Christian faith, but also tries to do something about hope and new life, which are the themes that I think whatever tradition you come from, we can agree about. So the egg is also a charity egg as well. It gives money away. So we're giving a lot of money away, more generous than some of the older chocolate companies who are now owned by the Americans, for example. So we've made sure right down the line it's got a faith message, it tastes good, and it does a bit of good as well.
Nick, do you think we will ever get Easter back to the prominence it had, certainly when I grew up, for instance, as a Christian festival?
I think it's mighty tough, and I think it comes back to what you say, that we are unfortunately getting more secular. What I didn't know until David started talking is that this is specifically targeted to sort of churches and schools and church schools. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen with the younger generations, and if they get a nice taste into the bargain as well, maybe there's a chance. All I can say is if you put a little novelty car in or something like that, maybe you might get some.
Or a bigger novelty car.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, with any luck, it might just give it a bit of a push, and so it should this weekend. My thanks to David, to Penny and to Nick. Still to come this Good Friday, Zoe Wanamaker talks about her return to the West End stage, and I'll be back on the 80 allotment answering some more of your gardening questions. We'll be right back.
The Titchmarsh Show, sponsored by Harvey's the Furniture Store, bringing your home to life. It's the Harvey's up to half-price sale with fantastic savings this bank holiday weekend. This really comfy sofa, now better than half price at only